What is going on, everybody? We are back with another ranking video already. I feel like we just got this, which we did. I just got this a couple nights ago, and I've already got it all recorded, so that's exciting. We're actually going to be done up through almost the rest of the week after tonight, and it's only Sunday, so I'm excited for this. Technically, it's Monday morning. It's getting really, really late. I should probably be in bed. So, with that being said, we are here to rank all of the stories from The House of the Dead 1978. We're just going to go ahead and jump into this. Remember, at the end of this, first of all, check the link in the description below. Hop on over to the Patreon, sign up for the Patreon. You will get full week early access to everything that is released here. After that, head over to, or stay here, if you don't mind everything coming out a week later on YouTube. At the end of this video, we will also be finding out what's next to replace the House of the Dead. So, let's get to this party started, shall we? I'm excited. Alright, so the very number 5, starting off with number 5, the number 5 story the story that I dislike the most. I'm pretty sure if you've been following along with how I feel about this entire thing, we are starting off with story number 1 with Miss Sibler. This was a story that I just struggled with. It was boring. It had a really boring kill at the end of it where, like, the lady gets chewed to death by a bunch of alien children with janky alien-like hillbilly teeth. Just was not fun. Did she get what she deserved? Absolutely. She has rotten, hated children. And alien children got her. So that was fun, but it just wasn't done in a fun way. Nothing. Honestly, this set the tone for the entire movie, which I feel is not fair because the rest of the movie actually ended up being pretty wildly entertaining, in my opinion. So, with that being said, number 4 on my list is actually going to be story number 2, which is Grosky. So, for those of you that didn't follow along, this was about a serial killer who was basically taking people out in front of a camera and recording them all. He eventually gets, caught, executed. But it ended up just being a lot of fun. It obviously didn't lean into horror near as much as the Miss Sibler one did. And honestly, most of the stories here didn't lean into the horror like Miss Sibler did, which is sad. But this was a fun story. And the guy that was the killer was pretty funny as well. Like the whole, I got a magic trick. Your life's gone. Your life disappeared. So it was at least a fun time. But yeah, so that is my number 4. My number 3 is the Cantwell story. So for those of you that don't know, this is the actual last in-story story. In-story story? Does that make sense? It's the last story that of the last story that's not the frame narrative. It was the one where the guy, it's the only other actual horror story in the thing, but it's the one where the guy it's a jerk to everyone, gets locked into a convenience store, gets forced into being an alcoholic by whoever's overseeing everything, and then apparently he dies off camera later down the line, due to liver failure, rotten liver as they call it. Again, fun story. Had a blast with it. Honestly, there's just not much to say about it, other than it was fun. It wasn't a bad way to end as far as the actual end stories go. My number 2 favorite story is the Tolliver story. So what the Tolliver story is, that's the one where the 2 detectives were basically going at it. So you had the one detective who was trying to solve what was going to be his murder. Finds out that it was the other detective that was working with him. It honestly reminds me a lot of Spy versus Spy, which is hilarious. Just not in a... It wasn't back and forth the whole time. Um, it was very much the British spy, the British agent ends up shooting in the end ends up shooting the American agent. The American agent, wearing a bulletproof vest without the British guy knowing, pushes a button and a knife goes through him, and then the British agent still gets the last laugh, even though he dies. Like, there's a bomb in the briefcase. It was just a lot of fun. It was very well put together, and I just thought it was fun. Lastly, okay, this is honestly pretty cheap, and I'm pretty sure I misspelled narrative. I don't care. So, the frame narrative is going to be my number one. The main story. Talmadge is the guy that was cheating on his wife, and here's why. I feel if you're going to do a movie and not make it just story after story after story without any tellings in between, then that's one way to do it. But if you're going to do a frame narrative, it needs to be good enough to actually drive the plot. And while the overall frame narrative, like, it has the build up where you find out like the main guy is like cheating on his wife with a girl that's cheating on her husband. It's been happening quite a lot. He's in town for business, and then he gets dropped off in the middle of what seems to be nowhere. Gets pulled into this place that apparently is supposed to be a mortuary, and the mortician there tells wacky stories of the people that have died. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of another movie that was done a few years ago now. Except the lady's trying to get a job there, and the mortician leads her around for all these stories. But yeah, I was worried it was going to go nowhere and it was going to end flat, but it ended up with like the best ending it could have, where he ends up being chased down and killed by the husband of the wife he was sleeping with. So like, for them to pull it together like that really excites me, because I was not expecting that. I was expecting like he died, I don't know, already sitting outside, maybe of pneumonia, or was mugged and was killed. Like, I was pretty sure he had already died. But to get to see how it ended, it was a lot of fun. I actually really ended up enjoying this. It has like a 12% over on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, poofed. Should have at least been 13. No, it should have been higher than that. I would have had it in like the 40s, 50s range overall, out of 100. So I'd have given it quite a bit better than 12. I didn't think it was 12 bad. Like, there's a lot that I would consider 12 bad. Honestly, there's some legendary movies I would consider 12 bad. But, yeah, so there you go. My favorite was the frame narrative. The story with the two detectives is my number 2. The story about the guy who's forced into alcoholism is my number 3. The story about the serial killer is number 4. And the least favorite one was the first opening story about Miss Sibler, who was eaten by rabid alien children. So, where does that leave us? That leaves us with, what are we going to do next? I'm excited. Are you excited? Probably not. However, here's our wonderful wheel. So, like the last time, we're going to hit shuffle 5 times. 3, 4, and 5. This time I figured out you can hide the thing. And here's the deal. Here's the deal that I want you to understand. What I will not do, I will not accept Armchair Thriller this soon back yet. It's going to have to at least be 4 or 5 different things that I cover in between there. Like, give me a couple months, all right? I will not accept Armchair Thriller Season 2. I will not accept anything else Twilight Zone currently, because I'm still working on Twilight Zone Season 1. So, we're going to hit the spin and see what's next. What is Welcome to Paradox? First of all, let me find it on here. I'm going to pause it while I do that. 1 second. Alright, guys. So, interestingly enough, it is on Amazon Prime or Freevee. It is the only way for me to watch it. It says free with ads. However, I do have Amazon Prime, so I'm curious if I'm going to get ads during it. That might have to be just how we do it though, because I will also see if I end up getting if there's a way to subscribe to Freevee and not get ads. I don't think there is, but we'll see. Regardless, we'll be able to watch it. Like I said, we may end up having to just suck it up with the ads. I would hate that because things like they're already 45-minute episodes, so we'll see. But I'm excited to step onto this new show. Now it seems to be way more sci-fi than horror, so that's a bit of a bummer. I'm hoping there's not too many more of these because, like, I want horror. I want the Are You Afraid of the Dark? I want the Tales from the Crypts. I want the stuff like that. Like, I can do sci-fi, and like I said, I know it's... Yeah. I do know this was in 1998, and I do know one of the episodes has Ice-T in it. I did see that, so that's exciting. Anyways, guys, that is the next one that is replacing this movie. So with that being said, I love you guys. We'll see you next time.